everybody, Will here, Willderjess Van Build Vlog Adventures. As you may can see, we've been a little busy here. We got some cabinets built. We got them painted. We've been just working like crazy trying to get this stuff completed to successfully meet our deadline of departure, in which we can get on our trip. Which we got, say our cabinet built. This will be the wall panel piece. This is the kitchen sink cabinet drawer area. We got our cabinet drawer built, and we also have here the component that will house the refrigerator and toilet shelf drawer, as well as another random drawer seat, which this will sit on the driver's side. But what we're working on today is our cabinetry, and we got our doors built for our cabinets, which I'm going to do some more trimming on these and do the whole shaker style to it. But our doors here are made out of 3/4 thick. I'm not really sure what kind of wood it is. One of it is from Sweden, one of it from Finland. It's just essentially a softwood type pine from apparently overseas. But this is what Lowe's had, in which we took and routed it out with the router table I made here. But we cut a channel in it to inset the red oak 1/4 inch panel, which we cut it and made it fit in there snugly, in which we used the KREG jig, as you can see, to glue it and screw it together. What we're working today is wanted to show y'all before I sailed through this portion of it too without filming it, is the KREG jig Concealed Hinge Jig. As you may can see on this one, I've already gotten these installed, in which again I did a test fit on a piece and then did this one, and it seems to work well. So I wanted to get in here and get this filmed. Y'all can see how this thing works, because as a very novice cabinet builder, this thing is awesome so far. So again, I can't rave enough about some of the KREG products I've been using. The actual KREG jig itself, the pocket hole jig, uses these pocket hole screws. It has a learning curve, and you need to essentially do a test on a piece, especially if you're changing thicknesses and sizes that you're using as far as the wood material. But it works great other than that. And which you also need a set of clamps. You definitely need a set of good clamps to use the KREG jig. But with the Concealed Hinge jig, it's simple. It's laid out for you to set the offset that the hinge needs to set in the cup hole, which these concealed hinges. Concealed hinges essentially means the hinge is going to be recessed in the door, so you have to create a pocket for it to sit in. Move this for a minute so y'all can see. Creates a pocket for the hinge to sit in. And so what the jig does is it creates the distance, it sets it for you from the end of the door, so you can create and screw both holes equidistant from each other, as well as it sets the distance here to the edge of the materials. As you can see, it's pretty thin here, but you can set it back too. And so you can set it between 3, 4, 5, and 6 millimeters. So once you get it and you figured out how far down you want to do it, the standard's about 3 inches. So as far as you just set it up here, you get a 3-inch mark. You slide it to the door, put it on to 3, clamp it with your clamps. And then the jig simply assembles itself with it's a super nice Forstner bit, pretty much is all it is, but it's got a stock collar on this chuck housing here, and all you do is stick it on here and turn it, lock it on, it's ready to go. You can shoot it down and drill the hole. And then once you get that, you can see you have 2 little tiny holes here. You have 2 little holes that you take a 1/16 drill bit and drill the holes for the actual concealed hinge hardware screws. And you can see you got your holes ready, as well as the pocket hole or recess hole for the concealed hinge to fit into. So what I'll do now is show you the setup and demonstrate here cutting this next hole, so you can see pretty much how easy it is. And this will be technically, I mean, it is the first cabinet drawer I've ever built, as well as the first homemade cabinet drawer I've ever hung. So you guys will get to see that firsthand in form. So stay tuned. Here we go. All right. A few things you got to have with this is essentially the jig, but you do have to have some good clamps, which the KREG clamps are recommended, but you don't have to have those. But the big flat plate on these really helps with distributing the pressure, and you don't want to put too much pressure on this plastic or your work surface material. So you need the clamps, and as well as a driller too. But that's about it. So we see we got our number 3 mark, and it doesn't really matter where you put the mark as far as on the board, as long as you're referencing each one the same. So as far as if you overhang the notch on this one, overhang the notch on this one, and that'll be about it. Even. So then take your clamps and clamp it on. Doesn't have to be super tight. Now you take you got to go ahead and put the bit within the plastic collar here. Then you have to lock down the stock collar. Put it in your bit and your drill good, and then you hold it up where you can get this lined up. And like I said, this is now the 4th. Well, besides from the test piece I did, but this is the 4th hole I've drilled with this. So we'll you see it piled right through it. Set that aside. Before you pull this off, you got to be sure you leave it so you can drill your pilot hole for your screws. So you just get your 1/16 bit, shoot it down in there, and there you go. It's ready to come off. You have your holes drilled for your cabinet hardware concealed hinge. Set this guy in here. Get your screwdriver. Get this one started. And we're gonna get this one. And these screws, you know, they have the wood screws have a fluted end, I guess, at the top of them. So, and these holes on it, it's pretty much self-aligning as you tighten it. You don't want to super duper tighten it, but you know, you can always get it close and snug it, and then that's it. I mean, it's on there. It's ready. All you do now is go to your door, because these are centered on the door. You know where it is. It doesn't have to, you know, you're not fumbling with that. All now you have to do is center the door on the location where you want it, and then it's ready to go. You screw it. The beauty of the KREG jig, because the KREG jig positions each one of the hinges equidistant from the end of the board or your cabinet door, you know that it's the same. So I know I built the cabinet door a 1/2 inch, or essentially 1 inch bigger in height than the opening of the door. So I took and I came in a 1/2 inch on each side and made a little mark. On these hinges, there's a little ear on them that you can see that it catches on the lip of the door, which stops how far it lets you go in. So I'm going to take my mark here and line it up with the top and the bottom where it's flush and evenly spaced on the hole on the cabinet opening, and see how it goes. I'll try to stay out of the shot where you guys can see what I'm doing, but one man show here. Pretty good. Get our drill This is a 1/16 bit. That's not that old. And now, to the main attraction, screwing this thing on. Let's get our screwdriver. Dang. It looks pretty good. Let's see. Ooh-wee. Look at that soft close. Let's get a little thing out on it. And there's slamming doors around here. So yeah, dude. Definitely happy with that. We'll see if we can get the other one mounted. KREG jig, man. Again, first time I ever installed a homemade cabinet door on a homemade cabinet after you watched the entire process, slam it. Put the hinges in, and it took all of the guesswork. You know, pretty much all you have to do is make sure you position your door where you want it on the actual cabinet, and then you can get it to go.
How long do you think that took you?
To put it on, it's like 10 minutes. I mean, literally, it took me forever to build this thing. But yeah, I mean, KREG jig deal here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Loads it up good.
GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording.
Pots.
GoPro, stop filming.